Today we are going to be looking at number 9 in your packet, so let's go ahead to turn to number 9 and we'll read it together. It says, Simon is filling the water tank shown below. Here is our water tank. Okay. After 2 minutes, the tank is filled up 1/5 of its height. What is the rate in cubic meters per minute at which Simon is filling up the water tank? Our options are 0.025, 0.050, 0.100, and 0.125. Okay, I went ahead and I applied cubes to this problem. I highlighted all my important numbers, so I have all of the numbers labeled on my cube there. Then I have 2 minutes and 1/5 of its height. The question that we are being asked is, what is the rate in cubic meters per minute at which Simon is filling up the water tank? All right. The great thing about the PSSA is we get this wonderful reference sheet, and this is right on the front of your packet. So I went ahead and ripped it off so that I could see it a little bit easier. And we can see that right here for a rectangular prism, our volume is the length times the width times the height. Okay, again, our volume for a rectangular prism is the length times the width times the height. So I'm going to go back over here, and I can see that we have 1 meter for our height, 0.5 meters for our length and width as well. I'm going to reread the question one more time just so I can get all of this information in my head. It says, after 2 minutes, the tank is filled up to 1/5 of its height. What is the rate in cubic meters per minute in which Simon is filling up the water tank? Okay, so the first thing I want to do is I want to find out what is 1/5 of our tank's height. So we know that our height is 1 meter times 1/5. Okay? And I can put that right into my calculator. 1 times 0.2. 0.2 is the same thing as 1/5. Will give me 0.2. Okay? 0.2 is what I'm using for the value of my height right now. So now I can apply this formula. Volume equals length times width times height. 0.2 times 0.5 times 0.5. And I'm just going to put that right in my calculator. 0.2 times 0.5 times 0.5. And that gives me 0.05. Okay? However, that is not my final answer. What this 0.05 represents is that in 2 minutes, our tank has filled up 0.05 meters. However, if we go back to our question, it says, what is the rate in cubic meters per minute? Not in 2 minutes, we want 1 minute. So what we have to do now is we have to set up one of our favorite things called a ratio. So if we know that we have 0.05 meters per 2 minutes, we are trying to figure out, let me just erase this over here, our unit rate, which would be a certain amount of meters per 1 minute. So this is how I set up my ratio. And now I'm going to go ahead and cross multiply. 0.05 times 1 minute leaves us with 0.05. 2 minutes times x will give us 2x. Okay. Now what we want to do is we want to get this x alone. So we have to divide out this 2. Whatever we do on our right side, we also have to do on the left side. Divide by 2. Okay. I'm going to go back to my calculator. 0.05 divided by 2 will give us 0.025 for x. Take a minute. Look at this work. And we know that x is representing how many meters per 1 minute that our tank will fill up. So our option, the correct answer for this question is A.